You've got $50 and I've got where I've put it. Let's hop on into it. First up here, starting with the active duty cases. Now, active duty cases are not traditionally seen as a great investment. However, considering most of them are up potentially 10 to 30% over the past couple of days, it definitely does raise some opportunity of if you should be looking into this area. In my personal opinion, I still would hold off from this area. One, because obviously this is the only area that's seen this pretty massive growth. And two, the fact is these are going to keep on dropping and it doesn't seem like anything major is going to change in the near future.
SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description.
Now, the next thing that's up on my list is rare cases. Rare cases are an absolutely massive investment when it comes to potential, and that's exactly why we're going to be looking into them. The greatest part about rare cases is although they have moved a little bit, and not a lot of them are up absolutely massively, a lot of active duty cases are up a little bit more than rare cases. That's just because active duty cases have a lot of the interest right now, whereas rare cases have sustained long-term interest, and that's exactly what we're going to be focusing in on. If we want to look at the daily unboxings, we can see that there is a couple big ones that stand out, and when we zoom out to the monthly unboxings, we can see this exact same trend as well. This is very important because we need to make sure the rare cases we're investing into are not just ones that are going to peak and collapse in the amount of hype and the amount of unboxings they get. We need to make sure we're investing into the rare cases that over a long period of time are going to be consistently unboxed, because that's what makes a great rare case investment. We need to make sure we're investing into the rare cases that are going to be decreasing significantly long term and not the ones that are just going to be unboxed a couple of times every week. We'll go into it a little bit more at the end, but I think rare cases are definitely a great opportunity for everyone that's not super familiar with investing, or if you want a little bit of a safer investment as well. Now, the other thing that's probably on your list is Paris, and Paris is such an interesting predicament in the current moment because we don't really know how long it's going to be sticking around for. Obviously, it's been in the shop for a very long period of time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a terrible investment. The truth about Paris is there's a lot of unique stickers inside of them that potentially will never return. I don't know how likely it is, but not every single one of these teams that have a unique sticker are going to make another major theoretically, and therefore that does open up a decent amount of investment opportunity when we're talking about the longer period. Now, investing into these specific stickers at the current moment does not make sense, especially when we're talking about the holos. They're just way too expensive and they're just way out of our price range, and the fact that they've been falling so significantly as of recently is very crucial because we can see exactly what happens when these stickers were just pumped up for so long, which is exactly what we predicted. Although they were definitely good for people who wanted to open up the capsules and have a high ROI, however, at the same time, it also created a very strong imbalance between the amount of stickers out there and the amount of them that were actually getting applied onto weapons. This is very important because in the short term, it looks like this could be a very drastic trend. However, when we're talking about long term, I don't really think this is going to be that big of an issue because obviously if no one wants the stickers, the price will just drop down. Now, talking about Paris capsules specifically, we're actually going to be picking up some more in today's episode. However, you still need to be very careful. Talking about the autograph capsules specifically, 2 out of 3 of these are probably going to end up being relatively bad investments, and that's because you can open up a capsule and end up getting a 40-cent autograph holo. Not everyone wants to do that, and usually the unboxing demand for autograph capsules fall off very significantly unless there's some unique aspect about them. The Contenders one definitely has some unique aspects, so keep that in mind. Now, when we're talking about the 3 that have the logos inside of them, I still do think that all of these are probably going to end up being decent investments when we're talking about the really long term, just because some of these are not going to return in the future, and we're actually going to be picking some of these up in today's episode. There's some things that are just terrible at all price points, and honestly, in my opinion, I think souvenir packages are going to fall under this category. Talking about souvenir packages, we can look at the Dust 2 souvenir package and see that it performed extremely well, and yet it still got outperformed by pretty much every single capsule investment you could have made from the same major. Therefore, I don't really see a ton of potential with souvenir packages because that is the best case scenario. Talking about most souvenir packages, they're maybe doubling over the span of a year or two, and a lot of them really have no unboxing demand afterwards, and that's the biggest thing is we need to look for items that actually have unboxing demand. Your odds of unboxing a knife inside of CS is about 1 in 384, and your odds of unboxing that covert item inside of a souvenir package are 1 in 3,906. You can see why exactly no one's opening up souvenir packages. Now, for me, talking about Stockholm and Antwerp, my opinions haven't changed too much. I still think these are a great alternative if you're looking at Paris and you want some of these borderless stickers, but you don't want to take on the liability that Paris theoretically does have. Therefore, I think these are a great option if you're wanting to find a little bit more on the safer side of an opportunity. With that being said, I also don't think you're going to be coming even close to the returns that Paris might have. have. The biggest mistake I would say with this is looking at the peaks we saw for these Antwerp capsules and thinking that it's going to easily rebound up to that price. That peak was there because there was no known alternative for Antwerp and Stockholm at that time, where now we have Paris, we might have Copenhagen, we might have Shanghai. We don't exactly know what the future is, but it's not going to get much better for these specific capsules in terms of the opportunity that they have to get used. Now, talking about the current state of the market, it's not an easy conversation to have. The market is super sporadic in the fact that we're seeing some items go up, some items go down, and some items stay the same. In my honest opinion, I don't think selling off most of your items at this current point is probably going to do you any good, especially if they've gone down already. Those items you invested into for some specific reason. As long as you have a strong reason for investing into those items, especially over the longer period of time, they're definitely going to rebound provided they have an opportunity to do so. Obviously, you still need to have people that want to invest into the game or people that want to open up that item, but provided those people come back into the game or come back into interest of the game, I think you're in a very decent opportunity moving forward. Now, the first thing I invested into is the clutch case. I invested in the clutch case knowing it's the most supplied rare case out there. However, that also gave me the opportunity to get into it at a rather cheap price point. If you want to look at a lot of the cheaper rare cases, they're up potentially 15-20%. The clutch case has not really moved just because the supply on it is so massive, and even though the unboxing numbers are there, and usually it's one of the most unboxed rare cases, it just haven't seen too much movement, and therefore I thought it was a great opportunity because we know it's going to still be unboxed a decent amount, and it's got that cheaper price point compared to its competition. Now, talking about my second investment, which is the Paris Challengers capsule, I like this one long term for a couple different reasons. First of which is I think Paris long term is always going to have some demand, but specifically the Challengers capsule is in a very strong position. That's because it's got 3 no alternative stickers, and it's got 2 that have a brand new logo, completely different from the other 2 with the Legends only having 1 new logo and the Contenders having 5 returning stickers. This is very important because we can look at the Challenger sticker capsule, and I think this gives it the best chance of actually succeeding long term because it's got some unique aspects and it's also not the most popular one out there. Now, the next thing I invested into was the Spectrum 2 case. Spectrum 2 is in a very strong position because of a couple different things. The main one is definitely going to be those knives. This is the only place you can come for a Butterfly Ruby, a Butterfly Sapphire, or now even a Butterfly Phase 2 or Phase 4. All of these are now quite expensive, and that's very important when you compare it to the competition of the Spectrum 1 case, which is the only other one where you can get these knives from, and it's definitely one that I think is going to be unboxed a decent amount over the upcoming future. Now, my last investment was the Prisma 1. That's because of the unboxing numbers right here. These are the first day unboxing numbers, and as we can see in the mind of someone that's coming into the game, Prisma 1 and Prisma 2 are the exact same, although I think Prisma 2 long term is probably going to be a little bit more in demand. Prisma 1 and Prisma 2 are probably going to keep relatively similar price considering people are unboxing these for the knives specifically, and when we look at the spectrums and the chromas, we can see that they all end up coming together at a relatively similar price in the end. But that's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.